And we are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to Jason Heber Live. Thank you so much for bearing with us. It has been a heck of a day. Anyone who's familiar with the channel knows it's been a heck of a day for me personally with a lot going on, medical stuff and things, but then also just things with the case and pretty much from all angles. It has been a hectic day. So thank you so much to everyone for bearing with us. Well, we are a few minutes late here. Because of everything I have going on in my personal life, this case tonight had gotten pushed back a little bit, and I didn't want to have to do it again. So tonight's going to work a little bit differently. I'm going to help kind of introduce it. I'm going to read an introduction that was written by the mom of tonight's missing. And then we're going to let Denise McGarity, who a lot of you know, kind of handle the majority, really the bulk of the work. And I'm going to kind of get out of the way. I'm not going to be a huge part. I will be there, of course, like always, to show some pictures and stuff, but I won't be a huge part of tonight's show, which is not typical. If you're not familiar with our show, what we do is interview the loved ones of missing persons to help spread awareness in an effort to help bring them home. So if you are into that, trying to help out, as you can see, our show is interactive. You can ask questions. Maybe it's a case you've never heard of and you get a new question, or maybe it's one you've been following for years and you've been waiting to get a question in, and now it's finally your chance. But either way, if you are into trying to help these grieving families that desperately need your help, please click subscribe below, set the notification bell to all, and we will do our best. And you'll be notified every single time we start to do a new show. We typically go live at 9, so a lot of people probably don't know that we are live yet because there's only about 40 people in here so far. So I want to give it a few more minutes before we bring on Denise and let everyone start coming in. Because typically right now we'd have around 100 people or so getting started. Because we're starting late and it's been kind of a crazy day, I expected there to be a little less. So a lot of you guys are telling me you're not getting your notifications, especially when you become members. Everyone's saying, ever since I became a member, I'm not getting notifications. Starting to be concerning. I've done videos on it. I've talked about it a lot. Don't really know what I can do at this point because notifications are really important for this channel because that's how you guys know when we're live. So hopefully notifications will go out over the next few minutes and we'll get more than the 40, 50 people that are in here now. But either way, let's start by bringing on our lovely co-host, who many of you know from our multiple shows we've done with her. But first, let's introduce Denise McGarity.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Denise. Thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to say, as always, you always do a great job. So thank you. Particularly, I want to thank you in advance tonight because you're gonna have a heck of a lot of work tonight. You're gonna be the Jason tonight. No.
Yay!
That's like me finding a way to pat myself on the back. Hey, Jay Santiago is here. He's everyone that was Junior from the show from Juan Santiago that unfortunately was found deceased, but everyone loved that family. They fell in love with them. So that's Jay, guys. So I know everyone's probably looking to say hello to him because he was what a great family that was. Great group. Real heartwarming stuff, talking to the actual family and just seeing the love that can persist for people, after they're gone. But Jay, thanks for joining us, or Junior, I believe he prefers to be called. Ashley Hayes says, my notifications aren't working either. Yeah, so Kubi says notifications have to be set on both your phone settings as well as your YouTube settings. Yeah, you have to set it on your actual phone and go into the app and set them there. So hopefully that'll fix it, guys. Indigo says, hello, Denise McGarity.
I see that. Yes, I got mine's coming up. So I think mine's good.
Well, we're not talking those notifications. Is that what you mean?
Okay. Yeah, it looks like, mine are coming up. So
okay, but do you get a little thing on your phone that says, bing, Jason Ebert's about to go live?
I do.
You do? Okay, so you get them. All right, cool. All right, so not everyone gets them. Some do, but
maybe I'm just special.
Yeah, you are special. That is for sure. But everyone who's not getting them, Kubi is in the chat. She's pretty knowledgeable at that. As well as Grotto is typically in the chat. I don't think he's there tonight, but he can usually help. So see if we can figure it out, guys, because I want as many people as possible in the lives, of course. We're getting to about 60 people, so it's starting to build up. Kubi says hello to Jay. All right, guys, so I'm going to read what Diane wrote here. Diane is the mother of tonight's missing, Elizabeth Fincher, who goes by Libby. Is that correct, Denise?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is read this, and then I'm going to get out of the way for a little bit and I'll show some pictures, and I'll let Denise and Diane do their thing for a little. And it's going to be a little different than normal, guys. Like I said, hello, Michelle Jesse. We have a new member. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michelle Jesse, for joining the channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so this was written directly by Diane Matthews. So let me go ahead and get this read, and then we can bring on Diane because, of course, the important thing is hearing directly from her. I don't want to show it while I read it. Okay, and can I move? Gotta get moved over a little bit here. Can you guys still hear and see me? I'm on a different screen here. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
You can. Okay. Move it. How's that?
Yeah, I can.
Good enough. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So Elizabeth LaVaughn Fincher, aka Libby, L-I-B-I. Libby was born September 9th, 1972. Her father's name is Norman Bland Fincher from Freeport. I married him, of course, this is coming from the perspective of Diane, her mother. Excuse me. My throat, guys. I married him February 19th, 1972, and divorced him October 26, 1973. In 1983, I remarried. She had liked him well enough until I married, but did everything in her power to cause friction between us. I had a second daughter in 1985. She wouldn't have anything to do with her. I'm not quite sure who she's referring. Does she mean Libby? In 1987, I sent her to live with her grandparents. Okay, so yeah, she was talking about Libby. Was not, I guess, not happy with her father and then her sister as well. And if I read anything incorrectly, of course, we will bring Diane on to clarify. So I apologize if I misunderstand a part of the story. So in 1987, I sent Libby to live with her grandparents because she was so out of control. I worked shift work at a chemical plant and couldn't watch out for her. She was sneaking out and getting into drugs at the age of 16. I tried to put her in a rehab, but she got sick at the rehab and they wouldn't even give her anything for fever or infection. She had constant ear infections, so I pulled her out of rehab. In 1987, when she was living with her grandparents, I was assaulted by a man in my home that was looking for Libby. Wow. I found out from police that he had been using my house to cook stovetop amphetamines. Oh, geez. While my husband and I were both at work. The story I got from Libby was that she had seen him selling drugs and told on him, and he threatened to kill her. Okay, so Libby's story was I had kind of told on him, and he threatened to kill me, so I had to kind of let him do this, it sounds like, Denise?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, the story I got from her was, he was found and put in prison for only 12 years. Doesn't sound like a lot for all that. He took a plea, and I never even got to see the trial or confront him. Libby graduated from high school in 1990. She couldn't wait to get out of my house, and after graduation, she disappeared. There's a lot to this, huh? Wow. I would hear from her from time to time, and it got to where I knew she was fine as long as I didn't hear from her. So she would only hear from her when there was trouble, it sounded like. There's a lot to the story, huh? Wow, I feel like a lot of depth to it, I mean to say. Crazy one. Every time she called me, it was for money or food. Okay, yeah, so she's only calling at this point if she's in trouble. So Diane saying that if she doesn't hear from her daughter, she knows she's safe pretty much because she only calls when she's in trouble. In 1998, she had a relationship with another man and had a daughter by him. He turned out to be a pedophile. Oh, I'm sorry, Diane and Libby. He turned out to be a pedophile, and she filed charges on him, but it wasn't until he tried to molest another woman's child that he was then arrested. She disappeared for a whole year, even going to Oregon, where we have some family. I sent her money to come back home. She looked like she was starving. Her and her boyfriend came to live with me for a while, and I can't remember the time frame or the name of the next guy she thought was her one and only, but she went up north with him for several years. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. There's a little more, but I think this is going to be better off told from Diane's perspective. What do you think, Denise?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at getting it out, but I feel like I might be not saying some of the details absolutely correctly. So I don't. Instead of reading it all and making poor Diane have to correct 10 things before she gets her story going, let me save her the misery, and I'll just kind of have her tell it the correct way.
No, yes, I understand.
All right, we're up to about 75, 80 people. Thanks, guys. Welcome to everyone who's just joined. Please click the like button below, guys. That helps tell YouTube that you're enjoying the video, and it sends it out to more people. Hello to everybody. Hi, Michelle. But okay, Diane, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I just want to say, of course, I'm so sorry for what you're going through with your daughter. And you do have all of our support. We're going to do everything we can to try to help bring her home for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Diane. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
Okay.
So I was kind of reading what you had written there, but I read about half of it, but I kind of halfway through, I'm sure you heard me. I felt like, it's probably going to be better for you to tell some of this because I felt like I maybe wasn't doing some of the details justice. So do you want to, you can either restart it or if you just want to pick up from where I left off, whatever's
I'll
better
just
for
pick
you.
up where you left off.
Okay. And like I told you guys in the beginning, I am having some issues, so I may black in and out a little bit, but I am here. And I'm going to show some pictures of her and things like that.
Okay. After she broke it off with the father of her daughter, she met her husband. She married him in 2006. Scott seemed to be a great guy, and he was a contractor by trade. He was the love of her life. But I don't know if the drugs or the drinking forced them apart at that point. But I do know that Stevie was killed in 2006, her daughter. She was driving back from Santa Fe and went off the road and flipped the car, and Stevie was thrown out. And me and Libby had words prior to that, and I hadn't been able to see my granddaughter for 6 months. And the next time I get to see her, it was to go identify her.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
And that was heartbreaking. And then she divorced her husband, and then she had a relationship with this man called Carlos Verastiki, and then she decided he turned out to be abusive. When Libby had that car wreck, she broke her neck and shattered her right arm and several ribs, and she broke her back. She was out of work and laid up for a long time after that. She came and stayed with me for a while out here in Blessing. She kind of felt like it was a place to heal. And, we got quite a bit of acreage out here. And anyway, like I said, she would go for long periods of time not contacting me. And it was something that I was used to. But then her son, the last time that I heard from her was right after Hurricane Harvey hit. And she left a message on my phone, but it was a number that I didn't recognize, so I don't answer those numbers anymore because there's so many people trying to sell me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the message said, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I just wanted to tell you what was going on in my life, and that's all. And that's the last time I heard from her. Well, about a year later, I figured I would have heard from her by then. But about a year later, her son contacted me. She does have a son. He's 27 years old, and she is so proud of him. He's a graduate from Texas A&M. He's a construction engineer, and he was in the top 10 of his class. And she's always told me how proud she was of him. And I just can't imagine her not contacting her son. So when he contacted me and asked me if I had heard from his mother, that's when I knew something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I filed a report with the Brazoria County Police Department because that's the last place I had seen her. And apparently this guy that I filed the report with, all he did was take the report and file it and didn't do anything with it. Since I've been talking to the the private investigator and you, I called Brazoria County, and a detective came out and talked to me and took DNA. And I'm hoping to God that I don't find her dead, but he's leaning towards. She has a felony warrant out for her.
Mm-hmm.
For non-compliance. Libby never did hurt anybody but herself. And she was so sweet at times, and she, you know, I didn't know her friends real well because she didn't bring them around. She was very secretive, and she didn't like coming around. I guess it's because I remarried, but her daddy died whenever she was 21, and she was up in Wisconsin then. And I went to the funeral for her and got some contact information for her. And
Could I just ask you? I'm so sorry to interrupt. How did she handle the news of her father's passing?
well, since her father just completely stepped out of her life, and he only lived 15 miles from us, but he told me he thought it was best to just step aside. He never contacted her. He never tried to see her. He never sent her any birthday cards or Christmas cards or anything. And I was with her for 10 years before I remarried. I divorced him, and I was divorced for 10 years before I remarried.
Mm-hmm. And
so
she
it was just me and her for years.
Diane, she has a history of living on the streets, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how long she was living on the streets prior to her going missing?
No, not really.
Okay. They're asking how old she is. She would be, she's 48.
48.
Yes. She graduated high school in 1990, same age as me. I'm old. But yes, I mean, this was dear to my heart because we are the same age. When you talk to me, we have a lot in common, Elizabeth and I, with some things that you had stated that she liked. Can you tell me a little bit about prior to the accident of her daughter? Was she okay? Was she not on drugs or alcohol, or was this a history from way back?
I think it was a history from way back. It's just something that I didn't want to believe. My youngest daughter, she's 13 years younger than her sister, and she kept telling me that she's on drugs, and I didn't want to believe it. I didn't know anybody on drugs. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. And I'm just going, I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And she went from bad to worse. But whenever she got arrested in 2000, I think it was 2017, she was in there in Brazoria County lockup for like 7 months, and she'd started to put on weight, and she was starting to look good, and I thought things were going to be okay for her. But when I went to visit her that time, she admitted to me that she'd been shooting up meth. And that's when I decided that, I can't do this anymore. My friends, my lawyer, everybody told me that I was enabling her. I had helped her get cars. I'd helped her get insurance. I'd helped her get an apartment. I'd bought groceries for her. I'd paid her bills. But it just seemed like nothing, it wasn't enough. Libby's my firstborn. I love her. But I couldn't deal with her drugged up life. And some of the people that she brought around my house, I was actually afraid of, especially after that incident of 1987, because that was somebody she let in my house. I had 37 stitches in my face and 7 stitches in my hand, defensive wounds. And I still don't know to this day what he actually cut me with, but that's the scar on my face is from cutting me.
So she has a history of the meth use. Also, with the injuries that she's had from the car accident and her daughter passing away. Is there any chance maybe she had ever said anywhere that she would like to go or places she'd like to see?
No, but she had sent my cousin. I have a cousin that lives in Houston, and he got a message from her saying that she was in Utah And Greg even asked me about a guy named O.B. Simmons that lives in, I think he lives in Lake Jackson now, but I knew this guy whenever I was a kid. And his mother used to watch Libby whenever she was a little bitty, because I was always afraid my ex-husband would try to take Libby. And I had her picked up from school and brought home, and the lady kept her until I picked her up, or until my mother picked her up, actually.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of days, since I work shift work. I work days, evenings, and graveyards.
Yes. Do you know, did they say what area in Utah she could be at? I know we had a few leads, but it turned out to be not much.
You know, I don't know. And I don't know if Greg got a hold of this O.B. Simmons or not. He was a couple of years older than I am. And there was a picture I found on one of her Facebook pages. She had about 3 of them.
Correct.
And there was a picture of that guy on there, because I went and looked at his page and the same picture was on his page. So, and she said something other about a motorcycle shoot, or a photo shoot on a motorcycle. Well, O.B. Simmons had a motorcycle. And although a lot of the stuff she said, my grandson didn't think that it sounded like her, but she talked about getting a license and doing hair up in Utah and in Arizona. I have a brother that lives in Arizona, as well as a niece. And she was talking about Arizona and Utah and, getting her license someplace else. But the investigator from Brazoria County Sheriff's Department, he said he's leaning towards her just being on the run. Okay. But he said she just made everything worse by running, because she was on probation.
Yeah, they were asking where and when she went missing. Heather, she went missing from Jones Creek, Texas, August of 2017. She does have a history of living on the streets, homeless. I know I've been sending flyers out to the homeless communities and looking in those areas in Utah, Arizona, Texas, and started looking in Colorado too, because I had some leads in Colorado, but everything's turned out nothing. We've kind of went into a dead end on leads with Libby. Even tried contacting some old numbers that she had. Do you know if she had a cell phone at the time she went missing?
Well, whenever she got out of jail, she didn't have a phone or anything. I think she was using somebody else's phone whenever she contacted me. And that's why I went to Jones Creek with my friend to buy her groceries, again. And my friend told me on the way back, she said, she's just going to take all that stuff back and get money for it. Mm-hmm. And she, at times she sounded like she was real upbeat and positive when she was writing me in jail. And then other times, it was solid pages of F you because I didn't go do this or do that. She had gotten pulled over in a truck. And since she hadn't transferred the title over to her name, they wouldn't let me get that for her. Mm-hmm. And so she lost the truck. And she had 2 storage units, and I had been paying on them forever, and I finally let them go. And she lost all that too. But she was a pack rat. I couldn't believe, she had a trailer at one time, and there was so much junk in there. It was like she was a what we call curbside shopper. She would pick stuff up off the side of the road, and she would either recycle it or try to fix it and sell it. I guess that's how she made her extra cash. But Libby was very good at what she did. Her hair design, and she was also a painter. Her husband Scott taught her how to paint houses and stuff, and she did that a little bit. She even painted my house. doesn't look like it now. It's been quite a few years, but she did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about her tattoos or any special markings she might have? I know she has a ring.
She has a tattoo on her ring finger that's a kind of a Celtic design. Her and Scott had one that matched. Instead of getting, physical rings, they had tattoos whenever they got married. And she has a tattoo on her right calf. It's a picture of her daughter and the birth and death date.
And that's of Stevie, correct? Is Stevie's name on that tattoo?
I think so. It might say Stevie Sierra, and she hated Stevie's daddy so much that her gravestone doesn't even have his name on it. It's got her ex-husband's name on it, although he didn't adopt her. But her name, Stevie's real birth name, is actually Matula.
Matula? Was that the name on the tattoo, or was it Stevie?
I think it just said Stevie, because the other on her ankle on the left side, it says Trey, and it's got his birth date.
Okay. And then you said that she has done a hairstylist in the past.
Yes, she was a hairstylist, and she could be doing that under the table. I don't know. She was good at what she did.
Okay.
But another thing she had a problem with, after her arm was shattered, was using her right arm.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was shattered all up in here. I think there's a pin in this arm right about here. They kind of had to glue it back together or something.
And she has changed her hair color in the past, correct? Last picture you had sent to me, it was kind of an auburn red color.
Yeah, she's really kind of a light red. That's her natural color, but I've seen her do a dark red, but she's never dyed it black or bleached it out or anything. I've never seen her with those colors. It's always been either a dark red or a light red, and because she's very fair complected.
Yeah.
And yes, I seen somebody had commented on her arrest warrants, and they are public record.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at some of the comments that they were making. Is there any other drugs that she was using besides the meth, or have a history of that drug use?
Well, my youngest daughter was always telling me she was on crack, but I've never seen it.
Okay.
And I guess that's kind of a prerequisite to meth. I don't know anything about drugs.
Like a gateway kind of thing?
I guess.
Yeah.
And I know she smoked pot too, but I think all of us have at one time or another.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that is any kind of consistent gateway into meth. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never believed it was, but I don't know why she got. She says that this one guy that she dated got her into this stuff, and I think too that Libby's dad and her grandmother on her dad's side were both schizophrenic.
Oh, really?
So I'm worried that she may have gone over the deep end and may be out there wandering around someplace.
But she has no diagnosis of mental illness, correct?
No, but I mean, the times that she was here, I don't know if it was the drugs or a mental illness or what, but she could not sit down. She couldn't be still. She had got down to 150 pounds. She looked like a walking skeleton because Libby's 5'9".
Okay.
She always thought that it was good, that she'd lost all the weight, but whenever she was in jail, she started to gain weight, and she says, I feel so much better.
When she gained weight, she felt better?
Yeah, but she looked horrible. She was so thin, even the bones up here around her neck were showing.
Yeah. I mean, everyone kind of wants to be thin in a sense, but you don't want to be too thin.
No. And she didn't look good that thin.
Yeah.
I mean, she was kind of like, I hate to say it, but she hardly had any breast left. That's how thin she was.
All right.
So she's just lost a lot of weight. And you were supplying her with the food and groceries and things that she needed at home. And she did not. How long has it been since she's had employment?
As far as I know, it had been a couple of years, and it was off and on whenever she did have employment. You know, she would work for these hairstylists, and she's worked for them in Houston, and she worked for Regis. She worked for this place out in the mall, you know, and of course, hairstylists, they kind of change from place to place. But in her opinion, she always knew more than everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know she got really upset because they would have her training girls, but she wasn't getting the pay that she should have been due for training these people. They should know this stuff when they come out of school.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you felt she was underpaid?
Yeah, she felt like she was underpaid.
Let's see. So I know there was no, she has not obtained any hair license in Utah or Arizona. That was confirmed by Gregory, the private investigator on Libby's case, and cannot confirm that the text from Utah was from her yet. So that was still in the works. Looking to see if I can find any more information on Libby, and there's not a whole lot out there.
Denise, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, on top of, just so everyone knows if you're joining later, Denise was set to take over this live. She's going to be doing the majority of it anyways, but I am actually having some tech issues on the back end too, so just in case everyone wonders why I'm not on screen that much. So Denise, even more so than I planned, I'm having a lot of trouble. So just so you know, I won't be on too much. I'm trying my best. It's just I don't know what's going on with my PC, so I apologize to everyone.
You're okay, Jason.
I know that you're more than capable of handling this.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Letting Diane kind of tell more of the story is the biggest thing about Libby, is because I know it's important to get her name and her story out there so we can find her, because I know we've kind of came to a halt in everything we've had on our leads, with her not having a lot of friends that has been able to help. I've tried to reach out to multiple people, and it's been almost a roadblock with her, and it's a daily task to get that. I feel confident that we will find her. And if she's running, definitely she needs to know that she's wanted, and she needs to know, to contact somebody. But can you tell me a little bit more about her, of things that she liked? Was there anything special that she liked to do besides the hair and painting? Did she like the outdoors? Did she like to hike? I know she seemed to be a free spirit, so she liked.
Yeah, she was pretty much a free spirit. She was very spiritual. She belonged to a church in Angleton called the Friends Church. She had found out when she went to a family reunion for her dad's side. Her dad's side of the family all live in Pasadena. And she found out that they were Quakers. So she joined the Quaker church, and whenever she was in jail, I don't have the stuff in here with me right this minute, but she had written me several poems, and they were kind of spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
She was pretty good at writing poems. My mother was too.
So she did have a history of writing the poems. Okay. They are asking if we have a Facebook page. We do. It is called Bringing Home Elizabeth Fincher. If you'd like to join, definitely, we could always use as much help as possible. locating her and getting the word out. We do have a pretty awesome private investigator who is on that, and I'll give his name and information out. But I definitely want Diane to give us as much information on Libby as possible. There is a question. Has the guy that she was last known to be with was located? No. The name that we had, there was no association with the last known man that she was with. At least we have not found any yet.
He may be in jail.
Right. I mean, I haven't been able to find much on him at all. Just know that he was in certain areas, and then,
well, the last that I heard, he was in Freeport, Texas, but, that relationship broke up because he was abusive.
mm-hmm.
One time he slammed her arm in the door and almost broke it again.
Now, was this the last guy she was with?
Yeah, his name was Carlos Verostiki.
Okay. And with Carlos, with the domestic, did he ever get arrested for that? Did he ever go to jail for that?
You know what? I don't know, but I know that she told me she filed charges on him.
Okay, so she did file charges. I couldn't find anything on that. Do you know what county that she filed?
That would be Brazoria County.
Okay. I can definitely look him up a little bit more.
And she grew up in Lake Jackson. I've lived in Lake Jackson all my life until I married my husband that I'm married to now, and we moved to Matagorda County in 2009.
Mm-hmm. So there's possibly a domestic battery.
Yes.
Issues with that. And then there was probably, you don't know if she's went to court in regards to that domestic.
Well, I doubt it if she's on the run, because I did ask the officer if they would arrest her when they caught her. That's not my purpose of getting her arrested. I just don't understand why she just couldn't send a message, Mama, I'm okay, or Son, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not heard from her in 3 years.
Right.
And it breaks my heart every time I see pictures of her, and I'm going like, I don't want to enable her, and I don't want to get involved with her life anymore because of the things that's happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still my daughter. I still love her.
Right. No, of course. We always love our kids, and we want the best for them.
No matter how bad they are, how good they are, I still
Exactly. And that's just being human with everybody. I think we want the best for everybody. That's why I do what I do. Is, I know how it is to have somebody missing, and I don't want somebody else to go through what I have or what my family has.
And it's the not knowing where she is or if she's still alive. I don't even want to think about her not being alive and not being found.
Right.
I've got DNA. She's registered with NamUs now. So.
Right, that's correct. So the DNA was completed in January 6th or the 7th, correct?
Something like that.
Year. And then we do have a NamUs account. You finally got that, which we can, that number was MP and then 76975. There was a question from Dawn about her, do we think she was alive, I believe. Dawn, we're not sure if Libby is alive on the run or where she's at, because basically since she's been missing since 2017, there has been nothing on her except a possible sighting in Utah or a possible location in Utah, but nobody's actually seen or heard from her. I always assume they're alive. We don't want to think of the uncertain. So, um, that's the biggest thing for me is just keeping that positive for the families and just letting them know that, you know, um, they can call anytime and, prepare. I always say prepare for the best, but always keep your mind open. Which is really hard. So I completely understand. And I talked to Diane. I try to talk to her as much as possible about Libby, but sometimes we don't get that far. But also, do you think that maybe with a possible mental illness?
I think she's either schizophrenic, taken after her dad and grandmother, or she's bipolar.
Okay, that's something I was going to ask you. Did she ever have a history of bipolar disease, or do you think maybe she just went on the run because of the mental illness was getting to her?
I really don't know. I don't know if it was the mental illness or the warrant. There was a felony warrant out for her arrest.
Okay.
And my
the
brother had told me
warrant was not that bad, correct? It wasn't like she was wanted and going to serve long.
Right, and the detective told me, he said she really hurt herself
Mhm.
whenever she went on the run, because he said something other about that she was on probation, and if she had have done everything she was supposed to, her sentence would have been adjudicated.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the word. Anyway, that's what he said. If she had finished out her sentence and paid her fines and reported like she was supposed to, it would have all been wiped out.
Right. I know we had discussed that before. It wasn't like she was wanted for something that she was going to serve a long period of time before she went missing. So it was a little surprised that she did, if she did take off and not show up for that. There was a question, would you be the type to flee to Mexico?
I don't know. Probably not. I doubt that very seriously.
She was not one to ever discuss Mexico, correct?
I've never heard her say anything about Mexico.
Okay.
I just sent Jason a picture of that O.B. Simmons that she was, and Gregory asked me about it. That's why I was surprised about it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told him about this O.B. Simmons, and I went and looked up O.B. Simmons. I was 13 and he was 2 years older than I am. That's when I met him.
That's the history you've had with this guy that was with her, correct?
Yeah, and his picture is on one of her Facebook pages. That same picture of him sitting on a motorcycle.
And have you heard from him?
I have not. I messaged him, and I also messaged a cousin of hers, and I don't know where the cousin lives, but her name is Rhonda Lee Fincher. That's her one and only cousin by blood.
Yeah, we actually, I tried reaching out to her and I could not get a hold of her, and that one was really hard because I wasn't sure where she was, or wanted to definitely talk to her. I know I tried to reach out to Libby thinking maybe she would contact me, but she hasn't either. Is there anything you would like to say to Libby if she's watching?
Yes. Libby, wherever you are, I don't care what you have done or what you think you have done. My number is still the same. Give me or your son a call. Let us know you're okay. That's all we ask. Your son's telephone number is still the same, and so is mine.
I was going to ask you that if Trey's number was still the same.
He's still got the same telephone number. Now, he has moved to Houston now, but he's got the same telephone number.
Yeah, you told me a lot about her son and how well he's doing and how proud she, would be of him right now. And
she was always super proud of him. He graduated from Texas A&M with a full scholarship.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Yes, I'm proud of him.
And he's now in the process of starting his own business. He's a construction engineer, and he helped build the tower. One of his jobs, one of the companies he went to work for right out of college, was the one that built the tower on the Riverwalk.
Mm-hmm. Diane, there was a question, was Libby receiving, excuse me, any assistance?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I couldn't find any either. If she was receiving any government assistance, any information on that. I know HIPAA applies to a lot of things that they won't give out the information. So I apologize. Yes, Trey is her son. If we didn't say that earlier, so I apologize if we didn't get that out, that her son is Trey. We do not know. She didn't go missing in Utah. She actually went missing in Texas. And there is information that she could be in Utah. We do not know the area, but that is the information. And they are asking where her son is, and her son is in Texas too.
Yeah, he lives in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
The reason why we all believe that she's in, that we leave in Utah, was my cousin got this, I think it was a Facebook message, said, real people I do have in my life, but guess what? In just a year I've been gone, I learned how to kayak, seen Lake Powell, Lone Rock, Antelope Canyon, and my favorite of all was the Zion Mountains. Oh my God, so beautiful. I had tears. And did a photo shoot for a magazine on a Harley, and I got my haircut license reinstated for Texas and got all the paperwork in and dollars for Arizona. And all I got to do is a 2-hour lecture here in a couple of weeks, and I can work in a shop in Arizona. But now I'm in Utah and I'm getting licensed here too. The states are so small compared to Texas, you kind of limit yourself to just one license. Oh, I learned how to landscape over the summer and had the best tan ever and actual muscles. Oh my God. But I'm packing on winter weight now, and it just snowed about 6 inches here yesterday. So that was fun.
Do you know the date that was written?
No, when he sent it to me, I think he photoshopped it and sent it to me because there's no date or anything on it.
Okay. So he saw the message, or did he actually get that from her on Facebook? Do you know?
Well, I think he messaged her, and when she found out that I was looking for her, she wouldn't talk to him anymore after that. So I don't know. And my grandson doesn't think that sounds like her.
Right. We discussed that before, as you said, that Trey said that didn't sound like something she'd be saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I do know that this cousin that lives in Houston, he told me that he has a bunch of her stuff in his storage because she came to live with him for a few days. And I had cautioned him at the time, because Chris is suffering from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
He had been over in Iraq, and I cautioned him. I said, well, be careful. I said, I know that you want to help her. He was trying to get her into some kind of rehab. I know that you want to help her, but she's very manipulative. And I said, she's a thief.
Do you think she, would have ran off anywhere else besides Utah? Or do you think somebody else maybe got on her Facebook page or just got,
I don't know, but that sounds like, When Libby left, she generally drifts towards family, and I have family in Oregon, and I have family in Arizona, but I don't know anybody in Utah, and I don't know why anybody would want to go to Utah. It's cold up there. She's a Texas girl.
Okay. Yeah, in Oregon area. Do you know
Yeah.
what area in Oregon?
Coos Bay.
Okay. There's been a few. They were wondering if you can get a hair license with warrants. That, Layla, I could not tell you if you can or not. I'm not sure on that question.
Well, I've helped her fill out her application before, and there's nothing on there about her record. So I guess you can.
Well, if she's got a felony warrant, the warrant shows up when you search for her. I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Shani. If you go to the Bringing Home Elizabeth Fincher, there are some flyers on there. If not, you can always contact me and I will get you a flyer sent out or is whatever you need to get as many flyers out there. I know I've been sending quite a few out. I believe in Arizona and Utah and Colorado, where I have some contacts there. They were getting the flyers out for us. And I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. Because I know if Gregory said he didn't have any more leads, and we kind of just came to a halt with a lot of things, with information, because there wasn't anything else. Okay, so what we understand is the OB Simmons has reached out to the private investigator, and he was very cooperative and didn't know where she was. So, not to say that he didn't see her at one time, but, he had no idea where she was at that time. So we don't know. She could be on a street. She could be living under a bridge, since she has the history of living on the streets. Correct, Diane?
Yes.
Okay. And you said before that she has stayed in people's garages and under bridges. Is that correct?
Well, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
But, even without a hair license, Libby could do hair without a license.
Right.
That's something that she could do under the table.
That's correct. Yes. I'm not sure how that works, but
she had people, past customers that would seek her out. And she would just do their hair at her house. She would just get the information as to what they wanted done, and she would go buy the hair products and charge them accordingly.
Mm-hmm. So she could be doing this under the table where she's not having that.
Right.
And then, yeah, they're all saying that, yes, there's a lot of people that would pay under the table. So, yes, absolutely. I'm not in that field a whole lot, so I completely am at a loss when it comes to the hairdressing and area. Looking to see if there was any other questions that anybody else had, but it doesn't look like it. But is there anything else you can tell me about her? Any I mean, I know you said she liked the outdoors.
Yeah, she seemed that she liked the outdoors. They like to go into the beach. And I have heard of her staying in a tent on the beach before.
Okay, so there has been a history of her staying on a beach in a tent. And you said she's much more of the warmer weather person, correct?
Yeah. She's the closest beaches around this area are Surfside and there's one other one.
Okay. Yes, they're asking where she went missing, and that is correct. She went missing in Jones Creek, Texas. Can you tell me about where that Jones Creek, Texas is? Is it south? Is it north?
I don't know south and north. I'm one of those that gets lost everywhere I go. I know that it's about 90 minutes from where I am here.
Okay.
And it's Jones Creek is right next to Freeport, Texas.
Is there any it's a small town, correct?
Yeah, it's a small town.
But it's not too far from am I saying it's not too far from the beaches, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it's maybe how many miles from Houston? Do you know?
Probably about 75 miles south of Houston.
Okay. She ever mention about going to Houston or anything?
Well, I know that she's been there because my cousin Chris lives there. And I have another cousin. Most of my mama's family lived in Houston. And I had another cousin live there, and she was going to do some painting for him, house painting. But I think after she got arrested, that kind of fell through.
They're asking a question. Has the person who they say received the message checked out? Yes. That is a family member. If she had stayed. No, the family member is the one who received the message. That
was Chris.
And that was a year later, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I started calling everybody that I thought might have heard from her up in Houston, and he had called me before that and told me that he had been trying to get her into some kind of rehab. That's when I cautioned him, to be careful because she was a thief. And then whenever I started searching for her, that's when I found that's when he got that message. He had messaged her or something. I don't know if that was a text message or a Facebook message.
Now, I do have a question when it comes to how many times was she arrested prior to going missing?
3 or 4 times.
Okay. And so she's had a pattern.
Huh?
She's had a pattern of this over the years.
Yeah.
And it's been 3 years since she's been missing.
Right.
Do you think that, I know there was some information regarding maybe she joined a church. Do you think possibly she's, changed her name, joined a church, or, anything in that nature?
I have no idea. Whenever she filled out those Facebook pages, she went under Libby Lulu.
That's correct, yes. And then she's always went by the Libby, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mother used to call her Libby Lou.
Okay. And most of her Facebook pages, she has 3 I had found. And each one of them it looked like a different name.
Yeah.
She has not been on any of these, correct?
Not since 2016, as far as I can tell. It was, I found 3 under Libby Lulu, and I found 1 under Elizabeth Verostaki.
Okay, yes, you sent me all 3 of those, but you said 2016, but she went missing in 2017. So she was not one to get on social media, correct?
Right. She didn't get on it much.
They're asking, is it possible she was sitting in prison under an assumed name? Um, I don't think so.
I don't think so, because the detective said that they would have fingerprinted her, and they fingerprinted her whenever she got arrested, and they fingerprinted her whenever she was in jail. And if she had fingerprints out there anywhere, it would automatically flag them. That's one thing that you can't fake is fingerprints.
Okay. Heather Williams was, she was a little confused on what the circumstances were for her to go missing. Heather, there's really not a lot of information on why she went missing. Basically, they had not heard from her in about a year before they reported it. She was one to go periods of time without contacting the family, but not this long, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's not really any issues other than she did have a warrant for her arrest, but it wasn't anything that was is so serious that she should be running this long without contacting.
Yeah, the felony warrant was because she had a felony, but it was for non-compliance. So it was basically for her not showing up for her scheduled probation officer in court or paying her fines.
Mm-hmm. The Quaker churches, yes, I have actually reached out to Quaker churches, a lot of churches, Texas and Utah. Utah was harder to get a hold of the churches as they didn't really want to talk to me. So that's not something I have stopped doing. Definitely, I tend to make a phone call every week as much as I can to some of the churches and the groups in that area that could possibly, she has joined, and, you know, also checking homeless sites continuously as much as possible too. Let me see. They had another question. Could it be that she went missing foul play? My thing is everybody. There's always
that possibility.
Yes, you don't want to think that there's that possibility. There always is, and I try not to think that. But right now, it seems as though she could have, you know, run from the warrant, and that's what happened. But
Well, that's what the detective from Brazoria County thinks. He thinks he's betting on that she's running from the warrant, but he just, like, I can't understand why she would have done that when the charges weren't that severe.
Right, exactly. Well, I definitely, before we go, I'd love for you, you know, one more time to reach out. I do want to give the information though first on her case. In case anybody's wondering, we do have a Facebook page called Bringing Elizabeth Fincher Home. We have a private investigator, Gregory Johnson, that I have a case number. It is the 1909-0518. And if anybody would like to reach out and has any information regarding Libby, or possibly a sighting from her, or even needs flyers, he can also be reached. His name is Gregory Johnson, and he is Operation Precious Cause. And the phone number is 469-909-9885. Super great private investigator. He keeps up with me all the time as much as we can on information with her, that we do a lot of research. And we try to keep up with you, Diane, every day too, to get you as much information. But we definitely appreciate you coming on the show and telling Elizabeth's story. And again, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. And, I'm always here for you. Anything that you ever need, you can contact me. You have my number. I definitely try to keep that out there as much as possible. And definitely we're going to do our best to find her. But do you want to reach out to her one more time in case she's seeing this, and have her maybe get a hold of you if she is, or if anybody knows of where she is, to have her contact either you or her son?
I'm not going to stop looking until I hear from her or find her. But she just needs to know that I do love her. Her son loves her. And we want to know that she's alive and well. Give us a call. Leave a message. Let us know that you're there.
Mm-hmm. And she can even reach out to Gregory or even myself too.
Right.
Anytime. She is absolutely welcome to give me a call. I'm always available. I've left my number out there, and they can also reach me on Facebook. I'm not a Twitter person.
Gregory said it's also okay to give his phone number.
I did, yes. And I'm going to go ahead and give that one more time, that Gregory Johnson is the private investigator on the case. And his phone number is 469-909-9885. So if anybody has any questions or has any information, you can private message me on Facebook. You can call Gregory. You can text one of us. And we'll do our best to hopefully assist with whatever we can. Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. I'm definitely a little nervous tonight, so apologize.
Well, I appreciate all of you chiming in, and I hope that it goes far and wide. Maybe I'll find her. I keep hoping this is the year.
Absolutely. This is a year. This is a good year. That's the way I feel about it. I feel 2021 is enlightening. I always try to think of the bright side on life. Try not to dwell. Life is not always easy. And I always stand by each of the families and stay in contact with them, even after. My main goal is, just to find the missing and to be your support. I completely understand. I do have a cousin missing, and what his sister and his brother have went through is, I can't even imagine, because he's just my cousin. But to have a child missing, or a grandchild missing, or a brother or sister, that is the hardest thing when you do not know where these family members are. That's the biggest thing for me, and for somebody to know information and not give it to these families. That's
I just pray that I find her before something happens to me. I'm not a young chick anymore. I'm 67 years old. Something could happen tomorrow. Maybe I'll live till I'm 80. Who knows?
Well,
I just want to find her before I'm gone.
Exactly. Well, we are going to do our best to locate Libby. Libby, if you're watching, you can contact me. If you can't get on Facebook, you can definitely give Greg or I a call. And I've sent you messages on Facebook and left you my phone number to reach out to me. Yeah. If you need help, I'll do my best to help you too. So if she's out there, then we can. So, but thank you everybody for all of your questions tonight. We appreciate it. And sorry, I'm sorry that I kind of jumped in for Jason tonight, since he wasn't feeling real good, and I wanted to make sure Libby's story is told and Diane gets this out, as she's been going through a lot. And it's hard for you. And try. My heart goes out to both of you, and I appreciate you doing this. And you have my number, and you can reach out to me at any time, okay?
Yeah.
Even if it's just scream and you want to call me and you just want to yell at me, you do that, because it doesn't matter. I'll have Jason post some pictures of the missing poster and her information. But yes, thank you again. And hopefully everybody has a really good night. We appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.